Hello, hello, hello. Happy Friday, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us for another amazing episode of Her Story on tonight. This is a Friday night. We are here again with Her Story, and we just want for you to come into the room. We want you to be a part of the conversation. We want you to be a part of what we're talking about on tonight. So share this out. Share this, tag some of your friends, come into the room, say hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you all so much for just being with us here again for another amazing episode. And I have an amazing woman that I will be speaking with on tonight. I'm super excited to be speaking with her, and her name is Elder TJ Watson. She is from Louisiana, and I'm just super excited for you all to hear her story on tonight because it's going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome. So get ready to join the conversation. Say hello as you come into the room. Welcome, everyone. Good evening, Billy. Thank you so much for joining. And so let me introduce our amazing guest on tonight because I'm super duper excited. TJ Watson is an ordained minister and author. In 2007, TJ and her husband, Donnell Watson, started Connected to the Kingdom International Ministries in Hammond, Louisiana. In 2008, as a licensed minister, she started a women's ministry, Queens Unto Our King, Esther 4:14. And who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this? She later changed the name to Daughters of the Kingdom. In 2014, she was ordained as an elder under her overseers, Apostle Brian and Prophetess Monica Lewis of Free Ministries. TJ has served at C2K as praise team leader, on the Senior Citizens Outreach Committee, Intercessory Prayer Team, Bible class teacher, and the Ministerial Alliance team. She is an overseer behind the Take Charge movement and the author of her new book, Taking Charge. She co-hosts on the social media ministry platform Marriage with the Watsons on Monday nights. She resides in Houston, Texas with her husband, Donnell Watson. She has 3 children, Helen Williams, Chelsea, and Taylor Watson, and 1 son-in-law, Angel Williams, and 3 grandchildren, Ethan, Aiden, and Melanie. So Bougie Girl Cyber Happy Hour audience, please welcome to the platform and to the stage, TJ Watson.
Hello.
Good evening, Elder.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being with us on tonight. We are so grateful to have you with us.
I'm excited. I'm grateful.
Thank you so much it's such a pleasure and such an honor to have you. So I want to check in with you. How are you doing with all of this COVID and social distancing? How are you and your family doing?
Well, actually, we're doing great. We already was a close family. And so it just made us even closer. Even my husband and I at the time, it was just him and I, we were the only persons at the house. And we would get off from work and we'd take our clothes off, wash real quick, and wouldn't let nobody in. And so, at one point it wasn't a bad thing because it just made us even closer. Because a lot of times he would watch the game and I'm watching Lifetime, but it actually made us closer. And our girls, it made them appreciate life. Oh Lord, it made them, because they couldn't come home and be with us like they wanted to because of the Louisiana Texas border was closed, and so
Oh,
they couldn't
wow.
come home. They couldn't see me. And even when my daughter had a graduation, uh, the virtual graduation, I could go. And so that was hard for us, but at the end, it turned it out to be good. What they say, what the devil meant for evil, God meant it for our good. And so we learned a lot.
Amen.
Yes.
So what did you learn anything personally? Like has God been revealing some things to you personally? Can you share a little bit of that with us?
Well, to me, he told me to slow down, and I always put hashtags on a lot of my things, enjoying the journey. Actually, it was just a hashtag. I really wasn't enjoying the journey like I thought I was until all this happened because everything stopped. For example, at church there was this little boy that would always come and he would sit by us and he always wanted us to eat his little candy. And I never, I wouldn't take it. I pretend like I was eating it. I never got to know his name, and I'll probably never see him again. All those months, all that time, I didn't take time to slow down and enjoy what was right in front of me.
Wow. When you say things like that, it's like it makes us really take time to really get to know people and to really get to value relationships because, like you said, you never know if you're going to see that young man again.
I never
Wow.
know. So, and then he was about two
Right.
or 3 years old. So if I see him in 3, 4 years, I wouldn't even know how he looks, because his
Oh,
it's just something that I thought about. I'm like, wow, I need to slow down and really enjoy life and don't take it for granted.
right. So, what are you grateful for right about now?
Oh wow, I'm just grateful for being here. Years ago, actually at 24 years old, I ended up in ICU. I had a baby, and I ended up in ICU, and that's when I almost died. I was in the hospital for months actually, and I was in a coma for 3 days. And
Oh, wow.
so, years passed, not taking care of myself, not taking care of my health, thinking I'm young, not taking blood pressure medicine. It actually weighed on my kidneys and my heart. Where years later, I had another baby, ended up in ICU again, towards I almost died again.
Wow.
And the lady told me, even the doctor, that you could die. And so went through that. But the backdrop of it all, years later, I had 2 strokes. I'm 32 years old. I'm stuttering. My leg is dragging. I can't hardly
Wow.
remember. I have a young husband. My husband is not quite 5 years younger than me, so he's younger. He's in his 20s. We got little babies. And to see how far God has brought me, it's actually like as if I don't even have residue of what happened, but I have learned to take care of myself. I have learned, and even though I
Wow.
medicine, I am grateful to be here in my right mind. Because
Yes.
some people didn't make it. Some people that's my age, 50 and above, they're on these medicines or on the
Right.
kidney machine or whatever. So I'm grateful. I can shout every time I think about where God has brought me from.
Yes. I mean, what an awesome story how God has brought you through it. At a young age. You were going through those types of struggles and heartaches, and God brought you through that. That is such an awesome testimony. Wow. And so I know I asked you, like when you were 18 or 19, what was your life like? Did you think that you were going to be in ministry or be married to a pastor? What was your life like when you were on that journey as a younger woman before this all happened, before this began?
Well, I knew it. I had been in church my whole life, and I tell in the book about how I was the president of the junior choir, but I didn't share that. It's like I always knew I would be a pastor's wife. I always knew that. I knew that was my assignment. My grandmother raised me. She's gone. We had two grandmothers, that raised me, but she took me to church. I went to BTU. I went to prayer meeting. I went to mission meeting. I went to all these things, and it was as if I was learning
Right.
during that time. So what I did was when I got about 18 and 19, I cut up. I'm like, I know that's coming. So I'm getting ready to enjoy life for a little while because I know it's coming. So
Yeah.
I enjoyed life. I really did. But I still went to church. Even in college, I still sang in the choir. I still went to church. And it was like, we just came in at 3 o'clock. But I knew. I knew that, that was going to be a part of my life. But I still did that 18, 19-year-old in college, away from home. Are you serious?
It's like, you have a calling on your life, but it's like, I'm going to enjoy myself. I pray that God has grace on me, and I'm just going to get out here and enjoy myself.
Yes, yes.
What were some of the valuable lessons that you learned during that time when you were out there? Was there anything that impacted your life to the point that maybe you share with people now, or with young girls that are going through certain things now?
uh, have a goal, stick to the goal, stay focused, and make sure you're around people that have something to lose. You attach yourself to somebody that don't have anything to lose, you're going to go
Mm,
down that same road. And so I
wow.
tell, I made a lot of decisions with people that, I look back and like, I shouldn't have never been with them. I shouldn't have never been
Mm,
in that place,
right.
and I'm not saying anything was wrong with me going to the little parties, but there are some
Yeah.
places that I shouldn't have been. Some people I shouldn't have been around. And it actually knocked me off a little bit because I actually quit college after 3 years. That was the craziest thing. I'm almost
Wow.
at the end. Quit. Wrong people, wrong place, wrong time.
Wow.
And I never did that. And so I would encourage people, get a goal, get focused, don't get off track because that life is going to be there. The
Right.
party's going to be, the guy's
Right.
going to, yeah.
And you know what? I just want to tell everybody, thank you all so much for joining us on tonight. You all share this out. Say hello. Hello to everyone who is coming to the room. Good evening. Thank you all for being with us on tonight with Bougie Girl Cyber Happy Hour. I am talking to Elder TJ Watson. She is sharing such an amazing story already. We're about to get into it. So, Elder Watson, I know that I hear so many stories from first ladies about the struggles and different things like that. What has your journey been as a first lady? I know you're probably like, I can tell you some stories, but share something with our audience that would be, something that was very impactful for you as a first lady.
One thing I learned was I was misunderstood. I was misunderstood as controlling, and so I went through that. Everything that went wrong, it was my fault. It wasn't the pastor's fault. It wasn't my husband's fault. It was always my fault, as if God is not talking to him. And so I had to learn that everybody cannot be saved, and everybody don't want to be saved. Some
Wow.
people just want to shine. Some people just want a platform. Some people just want to get close to the pastor's wife for their own agenda. And I had to
Wow.
learn those things. And so, uh, quick story, there was this lady, she was actually our secretary early on. And my husband and I, this is a marriage relationship. I mean, however you do it. But from day one, we always had the same banking account. We have several, but we do have a main banking account that's together.
Right.
So we never hid money. He knew how much I made and how much he made. That's how we did it. And so this
Mm-hmm.
particular time, we had an anniversary that year. That was our first year anniversary at Connected to the Kingdom, and people had
Mm-hmm.
gave us a whole lot of money. So we're sitting there together,
Mm-hmm.
together, counting the money, open the envelopes together. Well, one of the envelopes was short. And so I told him, I said, this is crazy. He said, count it again. We counted several times. So when he
Right.
called the letter, he said, your wife stole it.
Wow.
He said, your wife
Wow.
was like, nope. But I had been telling him to watch her.
Mm.
And so
And
everything, her and her little group tried to make me be small. They tried to set me up so many times, to get me
wow.
out the, you know, they had their own
Okay.
agenda. If I move her out the way, then I get close to the pastor. And
Wow. That is
out that, that she wasn't who she said she was. And
mm,
but I don't remember. I don't want to say he apologized because I
sure.
don't remember. But eventually he seen it, and I thank God for that because sometimes as pastor's wife, we can't talk about it. Sometimes we have to watch in silence. Sometimes we have
Mm,
to wait and pray, and God will reveal it. And I mean, this had been going on for over a year. with her trying to
Wow.
set me, yeah, over
So why do
years.
you think that pastors' wives have to be that type of, have to be that way? Like you said, you can't say anything. You have to watch and pray. Why do you think it's like that? Or why do you think that first ladies have that target on their back per se?
Because a lot of people, and this is a cliche, but they see the glory, but they don't know the sacrifices that we have to make. And growing up myself, the first lady sat on the front row with her hat on, and they brought her water, and they gave her peppermints and stuff. It's bigger than that. It's way bigger
Yeah.
than that. So many people feel that it's glamour, but it's not glamour because they
Mhm.
don't know the backdrop of it. They don't know the weight of it. They don't understand that whatever the church is going through, it comes to your house. There's no such thing as you leave your job at your job. When it comes to ministry, the 3 o'clock phone calls, the Saturday have to visit, the burials, the weddings, the hospital visits. We're always on
Right.
call. And with my husband, the thing with him is on we had Bible class on Thursday night. So Wednesday night, after we get off from work, it was just me and the kids. All day Saturday, it was just me and the kids for him to get prepared for Sunday. So I had a lot of lonely nights too. A lot of times I was alone, but see, they didn't see that. And a lot
Right.
of lot of people want that glory, but don't realize what it costs. And it costs.
Wow. So what do you wish someone would have told you? I mean, you said you already knew since you were a teenager that you were going to be a pastor's wife. Is there something that you wish you would have known prior to kind of to better prepare you for your journey?
Whew, what? That's a good one. Um, Really, that everybody's not for you. Everybody that comes and smiles in your face, everybody that comes in and says, "Hey, Sister Watson, Elder Watson, Lady Watson, I'm here to help you." Uh,
Mm.
Everybody is not. Some people are assassins, and so that's one
Wow.
thing I learned. I always ask, "Who sent you?" I may not ask it verbally, but it's in my mind. Who sent you? Because anytime you have important help, you have to be careful. You cannot imagine how many people have actually told me, the Lord told me that I'm going to be your armor bearer. No, no. What
Wow.
is that for? It's bigger than holding my Bible. It's bigger than bringing me water. It's bigger than that. Are you praying for me? Are you standing on the wall for me? Are you there for me when I
Wow.
need you? And so it was a point where I had two armor bearers and I had to let them go. Whew,
Wow.
I had to let them go. And that was the first time I really had to let somebody go. And then after that, I didn't have one for a while, and I was fine with that. I was
Hmm.
fine. I was fine having a season of being alone, of carrying it until God sent somebody genuine, because that really could be a problem in ministry when you have somebody that close to you, because they really have to be close to you. They should be able to feel your spirit. They should be able to, be so connected with you. Being an armor bearer is huge. It's
Yeah,
huge.
it is. And so, I mean, I know also as far as being a first lady, the challenge of having close girlfriends.
Woo.
Ha- I know I'm getting all in your business, but has that been a challenge for you? Or, well, I'm gonna let you tell it because I did read your book. So I know, some of the things. Can you share some of that with us on tonight?
About having somebody
The
close to me.
challenges or just having challenges of having a girlfriend, not just an armor bearer, but is there a challenge of having girlfriends or anyone outside of the church that you can be close to and share things with and be vulnerable with? Because I know that you go through different things.
Right now, I have a mentor. Matter of fact, I have several, but I have a spiritual mother. I have a mentor, and there's still some things that I feel that I can't share.
Mm.
So I'm alone on some things because I'm very careful about that, because I had someone, like I said in the book, that I
Hmm.
felt that, we went through some of the same things. I cried out and she was like, I'm a first lady. I know what you're talking about. We're on this island by ourselves. Everybody can't
Right,
really understand. Even though you're in ministry, being a first lady is something totally different. And some people don't understand that. And
right.
so, we shared and I cried and I would call her and stuff. And then it got to a point where people was liking me more. That's what was
Mm.
happening. People was calling me, you know, and
Oh,
even though we two separate ministries, some of
right.
the people she was connected to wasn't being disrespectful to her, but they started, they seen the God in me and they seen my walk and they wanted to, kind of be around me more. And
Right.
so that person, turned on me. They turned on me, and
Wow.
what I learned that it's like now it's like who gets to the person first. It's a game. If I
Mm.
sabotage her name first, then even though she may try to defend it and fix it, it's still in the back of your mind.
Right.
Still in the back of
Wow.
their mind. And so that's what happened. And so it was very disheartening. And so it's really hard to trust. And I have a small, small circle. I really do have a small circle. And my
Yeah.
kids, being transparent, my daughters just say, Mama, if something happened, Daddy, what you gonna do? I said, I'm gonna be all right. They said, but
Yeah.
the person you with is dad or mama or us or you maybe a few people. I said, I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna be all right
Yeah.
because I'd rather have that small circle than have all these people. And let me share this with you. This is for somebody. My aunt, I love her. My aunt Linda, she always
Hmm.
gives me wisdom, and she's in my book. And she told me, she said, I've seen a lot of snakes around. And I'm like, thank you just over exaggerating because she's a prophet. And I said,
Yeah.
you just over exaggerating. You don't want nobody around me, And then
Right. Right.
things that happened, it was so real. It was so
Wow.
real. People were not who they say they were. They had their own agenda. And it hurt me so bad to whereas it took me a while to bounce back from that because I knew some of the stuff that I didn't tell because I could have
Right.
told somebody,
Yeah.
but
But you chose
I,
not to. Right.
and
You
to this
chose.
day, I'm so glad that I didn't just try to defend myself. I'm glad.
That's good. I mean, and sometimes we feel the need to defend ourselves because it's like, no, it didn't happen that way. No, let me tell my side of the story. And sometimes it's better to just be silent because, God, like, I mean, and you mentioned this in your book that God is going to fight your battle for you. You don't have to say anything. And sometimes the victory comes in our silence, right? We don't say anything, right? And I know is that the moment when you said in your book, it says, it did not take long for me to find out that she did not want to mentor me. She wanted to be me. Is that the situation?
Oh no, that was a different. That was a
Oh no.
different situation.
Oh no. Wow. She was like, okay, so
Like my aunt is not even in. My another aunt, she's not even in church really, and she had met her, and she said, "Nah, she's not right." Um,
yeah.
she, this lady used to wash my hair. I had long hair, and I go in and out. I let it grow long. I let it.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna stay short now. And so she would wash
It
my
looks
hair.
good.
Can I and just different stuff like that.
Right.
Want to bring me something to eat, want to take me places, and she was supposedly with a big name. To this day, I don't know if she was. And so I thought that I can learn from her because she was a prophet. She said she was, and it's not my calling to say she wasn't. And
Right.
so I just wanted to learn because I had grew up in the Baptist church, and now my husband started. Even though we left a Baptist church, we started as non-denomination, and so that was
Mhm.
totally different. We believed that it was the prophetic now, and speaking in tongues, and all these things that I was
Right.
not used to. I wasn't aware of, so I figured that I could learn from her. When actually, she had her own agenda, and it's so
Wow.
funny we seen her later, and
Mm.
we were in the store. We seen her later, and I was charged. Honestly, I was. I'm just being honest. I was charged, where
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not even going to go there because I don't want nothing to get
Yeah.
in my spirit. So I'm a kind of
Mm.
walk off a little bit, and she was like, hey pastor, and she hugged him, and he said before he knew, he just was like, no, she got that same spirit on her.
Wow. Wow.
So it's
And
actually always to It was just to get close to me, to find out who I was, to get me away. Yeah.
Wow. And it's so sad that that happens. So you hear so many stories like that in the church about how people want to get close to you because they want to push you out of the way, or they're jealous of your position or what you have going on. And it's just so unfortunate that so many women of God, you want to have those connections, but you just don't know who to trust all the time.
No, and it
Yeah.
hurt. It really hurt me because
Mhm.
another advice I would give first ladies or anyone in the church. Uh, People say now that you shouldn't come, this coming with a letter or from other churches. But there's a time they need that. I wish we
Mm,
would have gotten the resume from her,
right.
from me, because it's
Wow.
come to find out some of the things she was saying that they supposedly said, she did the same thing to us.
Wow. Yeah.
So
It's
I
so
believe we just bring people in. I see it too much. We bring people in, and because they say it was a minister or they was a prophet or they was something somewhere else, and we just bring them in. That's dangerous.
It
Very
is.
dangerous.
It is because you don't know their agenda. Sometimes you don't know their motives, and they can be a wolf in sheep's clothing, hiding what they really are after. So, as your journey has continued to go on and you're just growing, how do you keep a separate identity, from your husband? I know, you're the first lady. How can you maintain an identity for yourself, in the position that you have?
Right. To make it the long story short, I pull back. I find myself, being engulfed in everything that my husband is doing because
Mhm.
I'm the media person. I make the flyers. I do all the websites. I do everything. And so I find myself getting caught up and being, like you say, the first lady, the pastor's wife. And so when I started my taking charge, that was one of the things that I had to do. Years ago, I wrote my husband a letter, and I still have it. And I still have the letter. And so that's part of the marriage. I'm going to throw that one in, like they say, for free. I But I told him, I said, in so many words, it was like everything is about Donnell. When I get off from work,
Mm,
it's Donnell. What we gonna
mm,
cook is Donnell. I got to go to church for Donnell. And that was years ago. And so I found myself, everything was about him. And then there was a
right.
point where it was like, but I'm over here. I'm doing everything for you, but I'm over here. Don't forget. Don't forget, man. And I have a great husband, but he was
Yeah.
so busy preaching over here, preaching over there, going to Monroe twice a week, preaching here, doing this. And it's like, don't forget I'm over here. So I wrote that letter. I said, everything that I do is about Donnell. Well, not today.
Mm.
So
She's
I started not disrespectful, but
sure.
I started to pull back. So whenever I see myself getting, engulfed, I have to,
Right.
I have to realize that I'm TJ. I'm Tremanica Watson, you know,
Mhm.
so that I have to see who I am
Right.
without him. Like I say, not disrespectful, but
Right.
I have in the long run do me, because so many times people, we've been married for years, and so many times people be married, and that those years or however long, and they say, oh, if my husband died, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna
Right.
cry and I'm gonna mourn, but I'm gonna
Hmm.
get up, and I know because God is still on the throne. It's gonna
Right.
hurt me, but I still have my own identity. I still have an assignment that God has for me to do, that's
Right.
not connected to my husband, if that
Right.
makes
And
sense.
that is right. And that is so important that, like you said, you have that separate identity. And let's go into that, the take charge movement. Tell us more about that and why you started. I know it's part of your separate identity, but why did you start that movement? Why was that important?
Well, I started that movement because when I moved over here, I had been doing take charge moments. I started take charge moments in 2014. And
Okay.
so we moved here in 15. And we moved here at 15. My husband ended up with an assignment, and I began to help my husband with his assignment. And
Mm-hmm.
so I stopped doing Daughters of the Kingdom. I stopped
Mm-hmm.
doing that. I would do take charge moments every now and then. Well, some things transpired, and it really knocked me off. I almost got set back to that 2010-11 that I'm writing about in my book. I almost
Right.
got set into that zone. And so I had to back up from everything, go into prayer. And that's when the Take Charge movement began. And it was like God was saying, it's time for you to, to get back in position. Well, with the movement, I said, wait a minute, not just me, but there's other people that they need to see. And so just like domestic violence, divorce,
Right.
being a single mom, uh, I mean, I've been divorced before, but it wasn't nothing ugly. It was just we got married, and really 2 weeks later, we really was broke up. I'm just being honest. It was
Yeah,
trouble,
she's like,
but as single mom, I don't know anything about that.
right.
Domestic violence, I don't know anything about that. So I wanted to have a platform as far as the movement, so that people could come on, share their story, because there's
Right.
other people out there that I can't reach. My story
Right.
can't reach. You can't relate to my story, but you can relate to her story. So now you have a
Right.
point of reference to say, you know what? If she made it out, I can make it out.
Right.
And like I said, the being a single mom is huge. You see that all around. But I've never had that. I've never been a single mom,
Right.
and so I
Right.
don't know about having to get off from work, do homework, do all the cooking, do everything. I don't know anything about that, but I know that
Right.
a lot of women go through that, and to see if I put someone on there and see that they made it through, that helps the next person. And so
Right.
that's what the movement is all about, just bringing in other women, tell their story.
And that's awesome that you're able to have that platform, like you said, for other women to share their stories, to talk about things that you don't know anything, that you can't really relate to, but then they can minister through your platform. I know you just released your book. And so talk to us. Woohoo! Like super excited. Congratulations on your book release. I'm super excited. I read the book and it just blessed me because like I said, you're so transparent. You're so down to earth. You don't hold back. I mean, like I said, some of the things that you said, even you're like, you're nothing, you mentioned in the book, somebody told you you're nothing like what they say. And I was like, wow, people are just bold and they say certain things. How did that impact you when she said that? I mean, to you, because I know it probably caught you off guard, because I think it would have caught me off guard. How did you know it didn't?
It it didn't. I had that day, not I'm giving it to God, but I preached the house down that day. So,
So and that's the best revenge, when you can show them that, you know what, I'm not who you think I am, showing them success, and that, what you thought about me is that's not who I am. So I think sometimes that's the best revenge.
yeah,
Tell
and
us a little.
because
Mhm.
particular, and I got to tell a story. That was just a sidebar. that, that particular lady, she was
Mhm.
married to someone else before, a pastor before, and she don't remember that I remember. My husband had just started preaching, so he was a little minister, as they called him. And to this
Mm.
day, my husband still looks young, but we got married when he was 22, and so
Mhm.
he really looked young. And so at about 23, he was preaching, so he was just a little minister. And so it was
Mm.
the last seven sayings. I'll never forget, as long as I live, and I'm sitting there. And so when my husband got up, they talked about him the entire time, right behind me, right
Wow.
down, because all the preachers' wives were together on one side, and they talk, 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 talk. And so I had to
Wow.
keep my composure, and I was still a novice at that time as far as being
Yeah.
a first. A lot of stuff I need to learn. And so
Right.
this was what, almost 10, 12 years later. And so when she told me that, I just smiled because I already knew. Her
Yeah.
little crew
Yeah.
didn't.
And that's so sad that, these crews and these groups of women that are trying to tear you down or think they're going to tear you down, that they don't really move forward or they don't prosper. They're still doing the same thing years later, doing, being messy and catty and petty. And it's just so unfortunate as you and your husband are moving forward, they're still doing the same thing and their weapons aren't going to prosper. It's not going to work. So,
So later on, a lot of them asked me to speak at their church, and I did. Never said a word.
wow,
But
look at
I was
God.
the biggest, you know,
The
never,
biggest revenge.
I never said I knew, it was a part of my learning. I had to learn, that those things were going to happen. How you going to handle it? How you going to
Mm.
handle it? Because you can't fight back everything and everybody.
Right. And that shows such grace and integrity as a first lady, because I don't know if I could be a first lady. I think I would have wanted to fight like, y'all back here talking about my husband, you know. I don't I don't know if I would have been able to maintain my composure, but it's such an awesome example of grace and elegance of how you showed an example of, you know what, I'm not going to say anything, but like you said, years later they asked you to preach at their church. Wow. What a blessing. So tell us a little bit more about the book and what can the audience learn from the book if they read your book? What do you want to them to get out of your book?
Like my subtitle, what my reaction almost taught me everything. My theme years ago, I always said, it's not what happens to you, it's your reaction. And so I want people to understand everything is not about you. Don't take everything personal.
Wow.
Things gonna happen. Deal with it. Pray. You gotta cry, cry. You gotta scream, scream, and then move on.
Mm,
Understand. Learn the lessons and don't go back. There's a lot of lessons that was before me that I kept repeating, and I kept
mm,
failing them. And so learn
mm.
the lesson, cry,
Right.
and move. So I want people to know that you can take, like I said, take charge of your life, but you
Right.
have to do it. My husband can't do it. God can't come down from heaven and do it. We have to do
Right.
it ourselves. We have to take charge of our life. And like I said, if you do your part, He'll do His part. But He's not gonna, like I said, God is not just gonna take over. We have free will, and so
Right.
He's not gonna take it away. We're gonna have to want it to be gone. And so all the
Amen.
ill feelings, all the hurt, now I laugh at it. It's like, wow, how did I let that little thing get under my skin? Girl, you better grow up.
Right.
Get that thick
But
skin.
right. And I hear that all the time. You have to have thick skin. And it's like, and sometimes, people, they say that. And I'm like, well, wow, why do I need to have thick skin? I guess to tolerate. And sometimes I feel like to tolerate your bad behavior, I need to have thick skin to tolerate someone else's bad behavior because we can't control people, right? They're going to do what they do.
That's absolutely, we cannot. You're absolutely right. People are people. We moved to Houston on 2015, 2010. Some of the same struggles we had in Louisiana, we have them here. And just
Wow.
because we moved, they're still here because people are people wherever you go.
Right. Right, that's so true. So, you all, if you're just now joining us, I'm speaking with Elder TJ Watson, such an amazing woman of God. If you can see right here, she has her new book, Taking Charge. You can go to Amazon and purchase this book. It is such an amazing read. It will bless your life. I read it and it was such a great story of transparency and honesty and just showing your journey. So, is there anywhere else they can purchase a book or is it just on Amazon?
You can go to tjtakingcharge.com. I have a website, and you can go on the website and you can order the book from the website.
So TJ Shake in Charge right here, the website to purchase the book as well if you want to follow her on social media. So I also want to congratulate you on 23 years of marriage. You've been married for a long time. Woo woo, celebrating marriages, black love, right? So super excited for you. But I know you all have a platform and you all do a marriage ministry on Monday, and it's called Marriage with the Watsons. Tell us a little bit more about that platform.
Oh wow. The funny thing about it is we took some pictures from my daughter's graduation, and I looked at the picture and I was like, oh, that looks like fire. We could put that on a flyer. And then it was like, wait a minute. Mm, I see union in it. And so I talked to my husband. I said, we always talked about doing a marriage segment. Let's do one. And of course, we prayed. If you know my husband,
Hmm.
anybody know my husband, he gonna pray. He gonna fast. About everything almost. And better with that. and and we did one, and the response was bananas. It was crazy. And so we said we was going to come back in 2 weeks. And one of the ladies inboxed me and she said, "Oh, I heard you say 2 weeks. You got to come back. You got to keep the audience." And so it's been a year and a half now. We've been doing it.
Wow,
And so
that's
it's
so
been a
awesome.
and the good part about it, how I know people are being helped, they come and go. They may have somebody that come like 3 weeks in a row, and then they don't come anymore. And then I see them with pictures of them and their husband, and they on trips. So I believe that we are helping people. We get inboxes. People ask us to pray for them, and I'm loving it. I'm excited about it. And so Marriages of Watson is really turned out to be a blessing, not just for the people, but for us because we discuss it before we even come on. And so that's making us closer too, talking about things. And then it's like, oh, I didn't know you felt like that. Well, I didn't know you felt like that. Well, let's talk about it. So,
Yeah, that's so awesome. That's so awesome. And again, you all purchase her book, uh, watch the platform, Marriage with the Watsons, go on her social media. And I just wanted to let you know you look fly on this book cover, ma'am, with your hat and everything. You looking good. Beautiful woman of God. I love it. And so please follow her on social media. I mean, you will not be disappointed. Why do you feel like the marriage ministry that you and your husband have, why do you think those types of platforms are so important for people? Um,
uh,
especially
yeah,
right now while we're in quarantine.
it saddens me um, with marriage. And I'm not just talking about the people that's in the world, I'm talking about ministers, prophets, pastors, that a lot of them aren't setting the example before the people. Picture, says a lot. But if I know you, if I know and I've seen how you treat your wife, just
Mhm.
like with Queen Vesta, if you do it and he do it, he,
Right.
and you see that a lot, and it's so sad, that this is going on. And so I feel that it's real important that people see the transparency to know that even though you go through all this, you still can make it. A lot of pastors and prophets, and I'm talking about that because I'm in that category.
Right.
We
Hmm.
want to act like everything is all right. Everything is not always all right. You need to tell
Hmm.
people the truth. You're gonna cry some days. It's gonna hurt. You're gonna go through times of silence. You're gonna go through some trouble, but just stick it out. And I tell
Right.
people, I kid you not. My husband's never slept on the couch. Did I tell him he better not touch my toe? Yes. Don't even breathe on me. But he
Right.
never slept apart.
Right.
We went on vacations apart. We never slept apart mad.
Right.
It's always go in there and lay down and we're gonna work this out. And so
Right.
that's what we would tell someone. But this platform is very important. Is very important because it shows the transparency of ministry,
Hmm.
marriage, and just we have I already had a daughter, so we talk about that. The
Hmm.
blended family. You
Right.
know, when I met my husband, he didn't drink, he didn't smoke, he was this little good old Christian boy. And not me. I drank, I smoked, I went to the club. I had actually I had gold in my mouth. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
had the
Yeah.
blonde hair, and they're like, "Why are you with her?" But he's seen beyond that, and so we talk
Right.
about those things. How you can't marry for money. You can't. It was destiny. You have to know
Mm.
this is what God is saying. And so even
Right.
though Just on the outside, it was like he was oil and water. Now it's like you, if you see him, you see me. You know, I had the book signing, and everybody was like, "Well, where Pastor Watson?" I'm like, "Hey, this is my day. It's not about him."
Right. Right.
Us together, and we're joy to people, and I love that. So I believe this platform is very important.
Right, to show examples of godly marriage and godly examples. I know you all had a one of your titles for one of your shows was How We Survived the Shame. Tell us a little bit more about that particular episode.
Whew,
What did you all?
that was big. There's some things we didn't get to talk about, but I can talk about it now.
Mhm,
When there was a person that came in, and my husband got rid of him. Uh,
mhm.
that was on staff, and he let him go, and there was a residue that was left. Well, years later, he invited someone in to assist, and this particular person was telling people, "Oh, Pastor Watson, don't know what he's talking about. I'm a prophet, and the Lord said, I see you doing this, and I see you doing that." And this was
Wow.
bringing this to our church. And so it got to the point to whereas we didn't know how to fight. We didn't know where we thought we had intercessors at that time. They were not intercessors. That's all I'm going to say
Wow.
about that. And
Yeah.
so we didn't know how to fight. And so we ended up to whereas,
Mhm.
and honestly, this is for somebody in ministry. There were people that was putting envelopes in the basket with nothing in it. The envelopes didn't have
Wow.
nothing, or standing with their tithes with $1 and $2. You know your tithes not that small. That's my kids gave
Right.
more than, and so where we were paying 3,000 a month for the building, that's not including the insurance, that's not including the musicians, and I mean just three
Right.
thousand. So alone was hefty. When you take up offering, you got all these people, and you got $800 for one Sunday.
Wow. Hmm.
So, but you got all these people that's in there, and so it got to a point to where a lot of people left, and it was just us, and we were struggling. At that time, I was making $32.50 an hour in Louisiana, so I was making some money. You talking about
Right.
Louisiana, country where rent is $500 a month, so I'm making
Wow.
a whole. And so we were trying to keep the church up, because a lot of people had left. They had went with him and different stuff, and
Right.
we began to lose stuff. Where people start saying, "Oh, they stealing money from the church." What money? Why would I
Wow.
lose? Would I lose my vehicle? Well, how ignorant is that for me to lose my vehicle, lose my house, lose different
Right.
things when if I'm stealing? It got to the point
Right.
where I couldn't even get my hair done. If I even got my hair done, oh, I must have took the money from the church. Are you serious?
Wow.
And so, with Hammond being such a small town, the same people that were saying, "Oh, we love you, Pastor Watson," was the same people that was part of our demise. And so I had to
Wow.
go to the grocery store, and see some of these people. And what was so sad, some of the same people that sat at our table, some of the same people, my husband preached that for free. It wasn't about payment, but it was like, "Well, we
Right.
can't pay, but I need you to do this revival for me to bring in some money."
Right.
So those same people that see us in the grocery store now, they were shaming us. They were disowning us. We were pretty much blackballed for about 2 years. Even to this
Wow.
day, pastors that won't even acknowledge us. If my husband comes to a service, they won't even acknowledge that he's a pastor. And because of
Wow.
all the rumors and everything, my husband is a prayer warrior. My husband believes in
Hmm.
prayer. And people was coming. I mean, when I said we were on 2 television stations, that's how big we were. We had the
Wow.
baddest station. We had so many people that you couldn't even get in the church. And then it got to the point where like we didn't have anything. I had a
Wow.
women's ministry. My husband would go preach. He would have at least 10 to 15 men just surrounding him. So whereas he
Hmm.
only had one or two, and
Wow.
so very shameful, and that was hurtful, but we had to keep going. Because like I said,
Yeah.
you don't have 2, 3 grocery stores. You're going to see somebody at the grocery store,
Right.
and
Right.
look, and so without even asking, without even praying for us, that hurt me pretty bad. That not one, and I'm just
Wow.
being honest, not one
Yeah.
Out of all the places my husband preached, not one pastor and not one first lady reached out to us.
Wow.
Not,
Wow.
not one. We're by
Uh,
ourselves.
wow. I know that was hurtful. It had to have been hurtful and just overwhelming. So what did you learn from that, or what can you take from that to share with our audience that, maybe somebody is going through that themselves right now or have gone through that? What can you share from that painful lesson or painful journey that you all experienced?
Just focus on the assignment. Focus on the assignment. Focus on what
Yeah.
God told you to do. That's what we're doing now. Focus on the assignment.
Yes.
Don't get caught
Mm-hmm.
up with the hype, because a lot of it's hype. Don't get
Mm-hmm.
caught up with the people, because a lot of those people are not going anywhere. Like you said, they're in the same place they were 15, 20 years ago. And so you don't
Right.
get caught up. Stay focused on what God told you to do. You take the dust off and you move on. uh, my,
Right.
my husband prayed because we were going to either move to Florida, Virginia, or Houston. Well, we never was going
Mm-hmm.
to move to Houston, but we ended up moving to Houston. And my husband
Mm-hmm.
prayed because the Lord had already told him, I release you from that region. God had
Mm.
released us from that region. And he said, it's time to go farther. If they're rejecting you, take the dust off. I release you. And so we love our family. And there's some people
Right.
there that we still love. But for the most part, our assignment is up there for this season. It's up. He
Right.
said, and so you just have to know where you are in God and what God is telling you to do. And don't look back and don't get caught up, because everything is not what it seems.
Wow. Thank you so much for your transparency. Thank you so much for sharing that, because I mean somebody needed to hear that, because I know so many people, go through those type of difficulties and they give up, or they just fall apart. What can you share with us, or how can moments like this make your marriage stronger, or what are some tips that you can share uh, to have a lasting marriage through all of these ups and downs?
Stay together. Stay together. Stay on one accord. I tell you, that me and my husband, I think that's how we got through it. We stuck together. My mother could tell you right now. She could come live. She could tell you I've never said nothing negative about my husband. And believe me, I could have choked him a lot of times, and he probably could have. While I was speaking, I can, but
Yeah.
we don't do that. We never have. To him, he's an
Right.
angel from heaven. And so we stayed together. And I would tell anybody that, be on one accord, pray together, you know, uh,
Right.
fast together. Don't let anybody, nobody. And you know what? Now that we're talking about it, you know how many people have tried to come between our marriage and the church? Why would you do that? Why would
Right.
you try to play us against each other? It doesn't matter what I done. Come talk to me, or talk. And since we're talking, it just came to my mind. The whole church had a meeting on me. The
Wow.
church called the meeting. I got to tell you about. We got to get your wife straight. Yeah,
Oh my
and
goodness. So they had a pastor, a meeting about you with your husband.
yeah. So my husband, no way, let me explain. So my husband said, "Well, y'all want to have a meeting? Let's have it."
Yeah.
Two people showed up. Out of 30
Wow.
people, that 30 more people said that they wanted to have a meeting, two people showed up. I said they could have rolled
Wow.
me under the bus and everything, but they knew all
Right.
of it was a lie. It was just lies. And
Wow.
so people, when they showed up, they didn't even have anything to say. My husband said,
Wow.
"Please leave," and I'm paraphrasing, but
Right.
my husband, "Are you kidding me? We
Wow.
go to church, you do it in order and protocol. If there's a problem, let's get this
Mm-hmm.
straight." So
Right.
that was, you know, people just don't know. They just
Oh
don't
my
know.
goodness. That is so much. I mean, so how I want to know, how did you bounce back, or I mean, because you've talked about this several times about how people have tried to come between you, the lady who said you stole the money, and then these people talking about your husband while he's preaching, and now all these people want to have this meeting about you. You are so resilient, you're beautiful, you're telling the story with a smile on your face. How did you bounce back from all of those challenges? I mean, it seemed like it was just too much.
It was a process, But my husband has always been my cheerleader, you know, my motivator. And he
Yeah.
said, no matter what, we can get through it. And so
Mhm.
that's what helped me. You know, my husband
Right.
believed in me. Baby, I know you. I know you're
Yeah.
hard work. I know you at church when nobody else is not there. I see you studying. I see you praying. I see you
Right.
fasting. I see when somebody don't come to choir rehearsal, you jump in and jump in the choir. You help usher. You help, do whatever. I see that.
Yeah.
And nothing is going to come between us. Even in family, if somebody
Mhm.
needs something, I'm here, I'm there, I'm doing this and that. And he saw that. And he
Right.
always had that. And so that's what always helped me be able to, you know what? If nobody else don't believe in me, my husband believes in me. And so we're
Wow.
going to see each other. I would never let anybody. You can say what you want, but don't say nothing about my husband now, because
Right.
I got in trouble behind that.
Look, them fighting words right there.
Yeah, I got in trouble. I said a little too much one time, but yeah, I was like, no, don't disrespect my husband.
Right.
And so that's how he's always been with me since day one. And
Amen.
so that's what has made me bounce back. And with us sticking together, um, I
That's so
mean,
awesome.
when I was sick, and this is for somebody, and I hope it's not inappropriate, but when I was sick, my husband gave me that. He didn't say
Hmm.
call your mama. My
Yeah.
husband changed. He changed
Hmm.
me. Who would have done that?
Right.
When I I had issues where I couldn't go to the bathroom by myself, he took me. Who's gonna do that?
Amen.
So because
Amen.
he done that, and he had my back then in private, oh, in public.
Yes. Right.
So
Amen. And that's so awesome that, you know what, if you have each other's back through the ups and the downs, through the valleys, through the highs and the lows, you can get through anything. What an awesome story. I love that. I love that. It's so awesome. So what if you can go back and tell your 18-year-old self, give her some wisdom, what would you go back and tell that young lady, the young TJ Watson or the young TJ?
um, stop being so angry. I was for some reason at 18 I was angry. I always had my dad. I'm a big daddy's girl. I'm probably gonna call him in a few minutes. Because if not, he's gonna call. He loves to call me when I'm doing something, and he whispers and calls. And I always had a daddy, so I never was really looking for that. But for
Hmm.
some reason, I was angry when I was, at that age, and I would tell myself, "What are you angry about? I had a car at 15. You got your mom, you have your dad. There was
Yeah.
nothing that I didn't. I thought about it and I had it. You know, the clothes,
Right.
the jewelry, you know, everything. I had it, but I was angry, and I would tell myself, "Why was you angry?" You know,
Right.
and I because I was angry, I made a lot of bad mistakes being angry, and it could have been because I was spoiled, and as soon as
Mhm.
something went wrong, I had these temper tantrums. You
Mm.
know, Daddy's not there to save you, Mama's not there to save you. You in the hole because I had went to college, like 2 3 hours away, and so I wanted everything to go my way, and
Right.
that's not the real world. I think
Right.
I was selfish. But I was angry for whatever reason. I was
Yeah.
angry. I lost a lot being angry.
Yeah. And that's so awesome. That's so awesome that you can share that and look back now and say, you know what, I was angry. So this is, what I can go back and tell myself. Don't be angry like that. What wisdom would you like to leave our audience on tonight before we end this amazing interview? If you all are just now joining us, please go back and watch this interview. It is a blessing. Thank you again, Elder Watson. But before we end, what wisdom or nuggets? I don't know if you can hear that. What wisdom or nuggets would you like to leave the audience before we end?
Um, my book, Take charge of your life. Don't allow circumstances and situations or your emotions to take over. Know who
Right.
you are, I had to learn that. I had to learn, as I said before, I'm a teacher. I'm not a prophet. I'm not all these other things. I'm a teacher, and it's okay. And so that's probably my phone. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But that's what I would say. Take charge of your life. Don't allow things to come in to get you distracted, because now some things you never get back. There are some friendships
Right.
I'll never get back being angry. There are some
Right.
people that I could have had in my life that I pushed away. And so just
Right.
take those things. Pray and pray that your discernment is up. Know who you're dealing
Right.
with. Something not
Right.
right, away. Just walk away.
Right. Amen. So who is TJ Watson today compared to the young girl, like you said, she was angry. So who is the TJ Watson today?
Oh, I am fearless. I tell you.
Amen.
It's like, you know what? Nothing can stop me now. I invest in my. You know, I choose. Can you still hear me?
Yes, ma'am. That's better. Thank you.
I think it's my phone. My earphones went off. I can't hear you.
Okay.
But as long as
Can
you
you
can
hear
hear
me?
me, yeah.
Yes.
I choose to be. I'm fearless. I choose me. And I'm so happy that I invested in me now. So that's who TJ Watson is. I'm not in competition. Whatever you're doing, I clap and I salute you. But I'm gonna do me, and I'm confident in who I am now. So I'm. That's just if you see TJ Watson, just say, "Oh, that's that fearless lady."
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much for being on the platform. If you want to purchase her book, it is on Amazon. You can go and purchase the book and follow her on all of her social media. This is how you can follow her on social media. Can you hear me, Elder
Yes,
Watson?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay, good. Because I wanted to ask you one more thing before we finish up. So when I mention the words 2021, what comes to mind when I say 2021?
2021 means to me expansion, increase. As the Bible says, Jabez prayed the prayer, enlarge my territory. I'm so excited because I did a breathe moment where I paused, and now I got my momentum back. So when the world opens up, I listen. I'm talking about expansion. I'm trying to
Yes.
travel. I'm trying to go
Right.
places, and I want to learn. But when
Right.
you say 2021, I'm excited. I'm excited. And even if we have to keep doing it on this platform, I pray, Lord, give me innovative ideas.
Yes.
Listen, my kids are grown now. It's just me and my husband, and so now I could do things. And I want to say that real quick.
Sure.
I missed a lot of time with my girls because I was busy. I work in the oil and gas industry. I was busy trying to be the boss, and I was busy trying to preach here and preach there. And I missed a lot of time with my girls. And so I pray I made up the time. I pray I did. But now I could really go free. And I'm excited. Whew. So
I
my
am.
word for 2021 is expansion, meaning increase, meaning enlarge the territory. And that's how I feel. I'm ready. I am
That's
ready.
awesome. Awesome. Super excited. I'm feeling the same way, increase and expansion. And this is the final question for tonight. We love to ask our guests, our platform is Bougie Girl Cyber Happy Hour. Our platform is to inspire, uplift, and encourage. And, Bougie is an acronym. It stands for bold, one of a kind, unbothered, God's girl, intentional, and elegant. So what makes you a bougie girl on tonight?
Oh gosh. Elegance. I mean, really.
Yes. Amen.
Oh, but
Amen.
because I bounced back. I bounced back.
Yes.
After all I've been through, I'm still here. I'm not bitter about it. I mean, I still have my zeal and love for God. Anybody that know me, that's been around me, it's like you don't look like, not necessarily appearance, but the way you
Sure.
act, the way you carry yourself.
Right.
I would never believe that you went through all that and you're still smiling and you're still here. And so, meaning still in ministry, because a lot of
Right.
people left ministry after all that. They was
Right.
like, forget it. And so, listen, I'm a bougie girl. I am. I
Amen.
tell you,
Yes.
yes, indeed.
Yes. So another Bougie member on the squad on tonight, Bougie Squad. Another member, Elder Watson, is part of the squad now. So thank you so much, you all. Thank you before. So don't log off yet, Elder Watson. But thank you all, Bougie Squad, for watching on tonight. Go back and watch the replay. Share this out. I am so grateful for this platform and what God is doing, and
Yes.
um, connected me with so many amazing people, women and men of God that He has allowed me to connect with, like yourself, and interview and speak with. And I just want to say thank you again. But audience, go back and watch the replay. Go back and watch her book or purchase her book.
Yeah.
And here is the book again. And that's it for us on tonight. You all have a blessed weekend. You all have a safe weekend. Wear your mask and enjoy
Yes.
your holiday. Enjoy your holiday. Be encouraged. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed night, everyone. Thank you for watching. Bye, everybody.
Bye.